Hello everyone, you're back with the FGC podcast Salt Shakers, and I have the Marvel slash Capcom, Marvel vs. Capcom, the hero Unearthed. What's up, man?
Hey man, how you doing?
Yeah, doing good, man. Thanks again for popping on. So,
Thanks for having me.
nah, it's a pleasure. So, you're obviously a big Marvel vs. Capcom fan. How would you rank yourself in terms of nerd fandom?
Oh, I'm pretty heavy into like Marvel comics and the Capcom games separately. And I mean like earlier on, like I started Marvel 2, quite some time ago. And just yeah, since then my love for the games just kind of grown and grown and grown. And what with Infinite being out now, yeah, that's to be fair probably my favorite one. I just love it.
Really, Infinite's your favorite one?
I would say, like in terms of playing, like Infinite is definitely my favorite one. In terms of watching, it would be a toss up between Marvel 2 and Marvel 3 for sure.
Yeah. What made you what made you love the Marvel versus Capcom series above other fighting games?
Just the fact that I've got all of these characters that I absolutely love. Like, I mean, back in the Marvel 2 days, like the likes of like Magneto, Cyclops, like all the X-Men and stuff. And then in the later iterations with Marvel 3 and Infinite, Devil May Cry is in there, and Devil May Cry is easily one of my favorite game series of all time. So like Dante, Virgil, and 3, oh man, just I love them.
Yeah. So okay, so what are your top so that would be your top Capcom franchise, Devil May Cry?
Yes, I would definitely say it is.
Okay. And then what would be your Marvel choice?
Ooh, when it comes to hmm,
It's hard to put it to
oh,
one. Like Marvel's such a good franchise.
yeah, no, definitely. I mean, Spider-Man definitely has like a special place in my heart, being like the first comic I ever read. Like just got a comic book from a friend like years and years ago back in primary school. He was like, "Yo, like check this out," and yeah, it was a very early Spider-Man comic. Read that, fell in love with the character, and just ever since then, like I've just been suckered into comic books and video games and all sorts.
What's it about collecting comic books? Because I know there's value, but is it just because it's yeah, how would you describe collecting comic books?
Honestly, I just personally like collecting stuff in general. Like, I mean, like comic books and stuff like that. Like, I've kind of slowed down on collecting, like physical comic books specifically, just because it's much easier to get that stuff online. But when it comes to like statues, arcade sticks, special edition consoles and stuff, man, like I just love having the stuff. I don't know.
So, what would be the most you've spent on a Marvel or Capcom memorabilia type thing? How big have you gone?
Ooh. I haven't gone too big with their things. I mean, I bought I've got the Resident Evil 6 collector's edition. Like big box came with a hoodie and stuff like that, and a little statue and things.
Yeah. All right.
I bought the Marvel Infinite collector's edition as well, which came with 4 statues and a set of the Infinity Stones as well in a little case. And they were the Resident Evil 6 was like 350 when that launched, and the Marvel one was like 200, 250
Okay, that's all
after
right.
bro deals and stuff. Yeah, it's not. I haven't gone too crazy with that stuff, but don't ask me about Dark Souls.
No, no. Everyone just a fortune's been spent on Dark Souls, eh?
I don't even want to think about it. I have I have the entire series on everything except for 360.
Oh
Like I've
man.
got the Demon Souls all the way through on PS3. I've got Dark Souls Remastered, Scholar of the First Sin 3, and Bloodborne on PS4. All of those games minus Bloodborne on Xbox, as well as Sekiro, Kingsfield, Shadow Tower. I love FromSoft games, man.
Yeah. No, they're the ball, man.
Yeah, man.
So, from an outsider looking in, how would you describe the Marvel versus Capcom scene currently?
Well, currently, if we're looking at it, Marvel Infinite, while it started to pick up traction like quite a bit after its release, like when it came out, a lot of people there were lots of people that were quite excited about it. Lots of people that were like, oh, well, it's not three on a side. What's this active switch thing? Like, it was a big departure from the Marvel formula that they'd kind of made with the likes of 2 and 3.
Yep.
And then after a while, it kind of died down. Like the diehard stayed there, like myself, like Seb, like Mason, Dave, and all of that from up in Auckland. Like they just stuck with it, and they're loving the game. And it's kind of just started to find that passion again. Like there's quite a lot of people up on Twitter, posting up, cool tech videos and stuff. Like I just saw, like earlier today, someone posted a crazy new combo that I'd never seen before, and it was awesome. But like right now, it's a pretty good spot. It's in a pretty good spot. Like there's some pretty hype. Like tournaments, like whether they be online or offline, going on right now. Like the US guys have the Gauntlet going on. I believe they've got that like every week or fortnight. And they even had us, they had like a tournament set up for us as well, so we all got to play online for their Fate of Two Worlds
Yep.
points and stuff like that, because they've got that league going on too. But like, yeah, no, I'm really excited with the resurgence of Marvel content and players and stuff that are coming out and things, and I'm looking forward to getting whooped by everybody.
Because you are a really remarkable player, and you've mentioned obviously Seb and Dave and those real Marvel Capcom diehard fans. With this announcement of MVC2 at Evo, what are your thoughts on it? Do you feel like there's something behind it?
Like, I honestly, man, I'm just happy that Marvel's there. Like, I'm in the boat of like, just as long as it's there, I'm happy. Like if it's Marvel 2, sweet. If it's Marvel 3, like I am there. Like I love that. I love that game, man. And Infinite would have been cool as well. But I don't I don't know. Like I don't know if this is going to be the resurgence of Marvel 2, because that would be awesome. But if they brought it to PS4 and Xbox One, or to like the next gen consoles and stuff, if that's what
Mm.
they're kind of alluding towards, then I'd be pretty excited about that.
Do you think it'll be enough though? That resurgence? Do you think it could be enough to bring back MVC2 in the mainstream?
I don't know, because I mean you've still got dudes like with your Justin Wongs and your Yipes and these top players that, well, it's almost like they never stop playing. Like as much as I love like watching Marvel 2 and stuff, I'm expecting Evo to be more or less the same of what we're used to. Like again, Justin Wong, Yipes, maybe Santhrax in there and stuff like that as well, depending on who shows up.
Yep.
But I don't know. It could be cool to like show like the people that are newer to the scene. Like came in with maybe Marvel Infinite or Tekken 7, Street Fighter 5. To see like kind of what was,
Yeah,
well,
that's
for
true.
me anyway. It was the face of the FGC for me, man. It was Marvel 2. It was huge.
Yeah.
It was the game.
No,
But
you're absolutely right. I mean, because a lot of new players, Mr. Wizard said it just right, is that a lot of players came in well after that Marvel versus 2 hype. I guess it's that question of like, will the hype resonate with the players of today?
yeah, that's gonna be a major thing, because I mean, like Marvel 2 is just such a much different game than anything that's out nowadays. And I mean, like that was basically, it's 20 years old, man. Like it's an old game.
It's as ancient as it can get. Yeah.
Yeah, it's well, sorry, like yeah, it's so old, but like people have still kept up with it nowadays. Like there are still new people coming in and playing Marvel 2 and things, and like that's all really cool. But I don't know if it's really going to be enough for newer players to like look at that and go like, oh yeah, like maybe I'll jump into that.
Yeah.
I don't know, because Marvel 2 is a very, very difficult game to get good at. Like the execution that's required just to move, it's incredible. Like I've got mad props to anyone that can play that game well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Mr. Wizard, with the tournament being announced, he said that you know, 8-man invitational, and those 4 players have won Evo. So as you said, Justin Wong, Yipes, Ducto, and Sanford Kelly. From your experience, since you would know a lot more of the players on your Marvel Capcom side, who would you pick out of the other 4 players? Could you pick?
Oh, nah, I don't know. I don't know if I could. Like, there's definitely some people I would like to see. Like, I mean, like sort of like Josh 360 would be dope. Love that man's Iron Man. Maybe like Mega Man Steve coming back, man, that would be sick. Like my picks would be more just what I like the players that I like. Like I'm not expecting to see a Mega Man at Evo 2020, but if I did, I would lose it.
Yeah.
Like,
okay. Well, I mean, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, obviously, it's surprising that it's there, but we're grateful. But then there's the whole debate of, you know, it took the place of MK11.
yeah,
Yeah.
like that's a bit of a hard one because I mean, like I like Mortal Kombat 11 enough, like in terms of watching it and stuff. I'm not a big fan of like the game itself. Like, I don't like playing it like very much. But I don't know if like there had to be something behind the decision. Like if they were cutting Mortal Kombat for Marvel 2, like they're kind of like there must have been a reason behind it. Like maybe Mortal Kombat didn't perform as well like throughout last year. Like I didn't keep up with many of the tournaments or anything, and I don't know how many other people did. So I mean, I'm no tournament organizer or anything along those lines. I just love to show up and play the games and things. But yeah, like I feel like there was probably something behind the decision.
Yeah. I mean, they are stating it's the 20-year anniversary. There are some people that are even thinking that there could potentially be maybe a Marvel Capcom collection after a result of this. I mean, yeah,
that would be pretty sick. Like that would be pretty cool, to be honest. Like I mean, they did what was it, the Marvel Origins collection on PS3 and 360,
yeah,
which had a Marvel, what was it, Marvel 1, Marvel Superheroes,
yep.
and yeah, they had that, and I mean like that was like super cool. But to have them all together, like every single Marvel game, like on a collection, or even just like the main ones, like how they had the Street Fighter anniversary. You know, they had like the Street Fighter 2 and the Third Strike and stuff. Like have that with all the different versions of things. So but people get like the favorite version of their character or the most broken one or whatever.
Yeah. Well, when you look at the character selection, like MVC2 had a vast array of characters from different franchises, and then you had MVC3, which maybe kind of toned down the selection, but there were still good options. And then you've got Infinite, which like no X-Men. I mean, you would understand it more than I do. And they had planned content which just never came about, obviously, because it just didn't really do that well. Sorry, you could probably speak to it more than I could.
No, you're all good, man. No, yes. So like, I mean, obviously the roster for Marvel 2, it's like 50, 60 plus characters, and you've got some wicked fan favorites, again, Wolverine, Magneto, Cyclops and stuff.
There's some characters I'd never even heard of before.
Things like Amingo and stuff like that on the Capcom side. Yeah,
I'm not thinking, what is this cactus thing?
Dude, like there have been very few people that I know that have actually played Amingo's like rhythm game and things, and yeah, it's quite funny. And then like even other characters that look like super cool, like the amount of people that I know that don't know who Ruby Hart was, and it was like, man, like really, like come on, like, but they kind of like they tried to modernize it. I feel a little bit more with Marvel 3, what with introducing like, well, Phoenix Wright from the Ace Attorney series, and Dante and Trish originally in Vanilla 3, and Virgil in Ultimate, with representing Devil May Cry, Frank West with Dead Rising and stuff, and then with Infinite, they really dropped the ball. Like there were some characters that I just don't feel like they should have been there, or they should have done more with. Or characters like, or I haven't seen too much from these characters, but like Arthur, Firebrand, Frank West and stuff. Like I understand Frank's starting to become scary. I've seen some stuff on Twitter, and I watched, what was it, Evo 2018 Marvel Finals. There was a guy playing Frank West and Monster Hunter, and that was terrifying. But like they're just basically copy paste characters. Like they're with like maybe a few added moves here and there. Like I know Firebrand has a little tornado in Infinite now, but like I feel like some of those spots could have been opened up for some newer characters, some different ones. Like I would have liked to see Wesker back in Infinite. Like I just they kind of dropped it. Like just again with the selection of characters. I don't know if it was, they only had access to a certain pool of characters to pick from, and they picked the best from that. But the Marvel side, I mean, the fact that X-Men's not there, like anyone will comment on that. Like there's no X-Men, and people will say they were coming, but they're not anymore. Like they're not coming. Infinite's, that's it. This is the game we've got.
Yeah. Well, say if you had the reins, what would be the first thing you would change about Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite?
I would probably just put the X-Men in there and call it a day, to be completely honest. Like, honestly, man, like I like, apart from the roster, I really, really, really like that game. Like just the gameplay and things. Like I tend to be a very aggressive player when it comes to anything that I play, like strategy games, FPS, fighting games. I like to be in your face, not letting you breathe, kind of thing. And that, like Marvel Infinite's playstyle with the active switch and your different stones and things, really kind of, I feel like it's kind of tailored towards. I feel like it's tailored towards me as a player. Like again, like there's so many different stone options that I can pick from, which can change the dynamic of certain matchups and things. Or I can just pick Reality Stone and go nuts. Like like I can go in. It's a lot of fun. Like.
So you're pretty content with the Power Stones?
Honestly, man, like as much as I hate it, it's fine. Like I will take it as it is. Like I have eaten enough to know, just slow down. Like just sometimes it pays to just sit back, try and get the whiff punish on it. But yeah, like maybe I would tweak that a little bit. I might also buff Reality Stone a little bit, but that's just me.
I mean, looking from the outside, it's like once you get an opening, it's just like, I mean, it's like UMVC 3. It's just like death combos. Well, infinites in Marvel 2. It can be quite dissuading for a new player to enter it. But how would you approach a game like Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite if it's your first game?
Well, I mean, if it's like your first game, like I mean, the first thing would be just obviously it boils down to having fun. Like don't just jump in, look at the tier list, and go like, oh, I'll just play Zero Dante because you're gonna get destroyed. Like Zero is a very difficult character to play. Like people used to call him brain dead in Marvel 3. Well, kind of, but like he's a little bit more honest in Infinite, I feel. But like it. Trying to just like wrap your head around all that like ridiculous technical stuff, trying to do all these big flashy combos and stuff, like you don't, like, while that's obviously necessary to a point, like just having fun with the game first. Pick up some characters you really, really enjoy. Look at some of the tech that the boys are doing on Twitter and things. Like no matter what character you're playing, there will be something. There will be some crazy combo, some crazy team or stone synergy out there that someone or even the new player in question could discover. But like at it, like that's going to be the thing, is if you're planning to play a game like Marvel Infinite and you're like specifically from like New Zealand, Australia and stuff like that, the only people to play against have been playing since the game came out. Like you're probably going to lose quite a bit, but you can't really lose faith. Like as hard as it can be. Like I know I remember back in I think it was the first tournament I went to, which was First Blood 2017. I sat down with Isaac from DC, who is another godlike Infinite player.
Yep.
I sat down with him, and we played Marvel 3. for about 3 hours, and I got a few games which I was quite happy with. But once he was done beating me, he got up and then blackout sat down sat down instead of him, and I proceeded to get beaten for another maybe hour or so.
Just went from
But
bad to worse.
Pretty much, man. Like, but the thing was, like, I was having fun with it. Like, I didn't let any of that dissuade me. Like, I'm here. I'm playing one of my favorite games. I'm playing against obviously some of the better players in the country. Like, I'm just gonna take it as it is. Like, I'm getting a few rounds here and there. I'm killing some characters. I'm feeling pretty good. And then you see them up on the big stage and they're just bodying each other. It just, oh man, it made me feel a little bit good. Like, yeah, I killed that Magneto. Like,
so, like, how would you describe the meta in a game like this? Is it similar, like, I guess with Street Fighter? If you're not using a top tier, you're gonna find it really hard. What is the meta of this game?
It can be kind of hard to nail down because, again, it like the game. For me, again, an aggressive player, I feel like the game's tailored towards me. But then there'll be some more defensive players, or like players that like to play smarter, like Mason, and they will just abuse like different parts of the system to screw with the bits that I'm trying to use. Like, I'll be sitting there trying to like box dash in with Dante or Ultron or something along those lines, and he's clipping me with a stand jab, and I'm like, oh my god, like no one does that. Like, who pushes buttons when I'm going in? So it can be kind of hard to nail down. But as it stands right now, I don't think there is exactly a bad character or a bad stone on the roster. The fact that Mike Pennypower from Palmy plays Chris, Ryu, and Reality Stone. Chris and Ryu, arguably the worst characters in the game. He's had multiple top 8 showings in our majors and stuff like that, and that is awesome, especially from him, because he hates the Marvel games.
He hates it so much, but he plays it.
Oh, he like specifically like Marvel 2, Marvel 3, he wanted to play those games to try and have fun. Like, he wanted to play the characters he liked. Like, he wanted to play the likes of Jill in Marvel 2, and she's not great. Like, she could be okay in that game, but like he's just like, nah, like, I get touched once and I'm dead. This game sucks. But with Marvel Infinite, like, again, like, you can kind of play the game the way that you want to play it. If you want to run away, you can just run away. Like, there are characters that are obviously very good at zoning, like your Dormammu, Sigma to an extent as well. But then you've obviously got your characters that are good at rushing down, your Ultrons, Dantes, and things like that. So it can be kind of hard to nail it down to, Ultron's the best character in the game, or, Nova's the best character, because it can be very, very, very situational. Like I myself, I hate Hawkeye, but not a lot of people are saying he's very strong. But nah, like, I can't stand that character. And Raiden played for a time, was playing what was it, Dante Hawkeye, but has since switched to the bane of my existence, Hawkeye Winter Soldier. And that is a keep away team I do not like playing against. Like, so, like, again, it can be hard to nail down, but I like rushing people down, but you can still just kind of keep away. Like,
so is Dante and Ultron your team? Is that suited to your play style? Are you quite a rush down aggressive player?
Yes, very much so. I mean, like, Ultron Dante was, like, right off the bat my team of choice. It is kind of fluctuating a little bit, where I've been subbing out Dante for Nova, just because Nova kind of represents better air mobility, and a few, I feel, better mix-ups, safer mix-ups and things than Dante. But then Dante has some of the best buttons in the game, like a standing heavy kick where he nunchucks the shotgun.
Yeah.
That move is just incredible. But in certain matches, I would prefer to have the air mobility of Nova rather than just being able to take to the sky and kind of just hold myself there. I would rather be able to, like, fly around and things like that, have some extra mobility, have some extra defensive options, some extra space to work with. So Nova's been getting subbed in a little bit here and there, just to kind of again promote that aggressive playstyle. And I can tell you right now, Dave can tell you how good that Nova is.
Yeah.
There's a video I have on my PlayStation that I've been meaning to upload for quite some time. It is the most one of like it is probably my best comeback I've ever made, and that's all I'm gonna say. Like it was incredible, and it was all because of my boy Nova.
Okay.
So he's getting a little bit more screen time now, and I'm starting to kind of try and mess around with him a little bit more. But it's Dante, man. That's my boy. It's Devil May Cry. I love that.
Yeah.
Like I love that game. I love that series. I love the characters and stuff. I wished Virgil was in this game as much as people.
Yeah,
hated
I was
him
gonna ask you about that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, like I don't care. Like I don't care what anyone says about Virgil. I play the character, but I played him before he was broken. I played him the day Ultimate launched. Like I picked Virgil and was like, this character's dope. I don't care what anyone says. And yeah, well, he's the best character of Marvel 3. So sad boys.
Did you ever play the new Devil May Cry game, number 5?
Oh yes. No, I that was a launch day purchase for me actually.
Oh.
Yeah, I bought that. Played through it. Took me, probably. Well, to be fair, it took me a day to get the first difficulty out of the way.
Yeah.
Like, but probably after about maybe a week and a half or so, I was done with every mode, and then was just basically waiting around for Bloody Palace to come out. And I've since revisited 5 on PC because mods. And mods are fantastic.
Yeah.
Like they've got a semi-playable Virgil as a mod now, turbo mode, so you can speed the game up because Devil May Cry 5 mechanically was a bit slower than the earlier games, like Devil May Cry 4 and 3. So the turbo mode gives you the ability to speed it up, so you can match it to Devil May Cry 4 or 3, or you can just speed it up 3,000 times and just stuff happens and it's crazy. Like that was a bit of fun as well. But no, I really, really enjoyed that game.
Yeah. Well, what about upcoming games for this year?
Oh, upcoming stuff for this year. Well, I mean, with the announcement of Season 3 for Dragon Ball, I'm pretty excited about that. I'm not good at Dragon Ball, but damn do I love playing and watching that game. But when it comes to completely fresh new titles and stuff, well, I mean, if Elden Ring comes out this year, which I doubt, the new FromSoft game, that would be pretty sweet. But I've kind of been out of the loop with a lot of the new releases and stuff these days, just because I'm trying to catch up on old games that I've got. Like I've still got Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist of the Roses sitting there looking at me. But yeah, no, I mean, new release stuff. I mean, all the updates and things that are coming out. Leroy's now a real character in Tekken, so
a real character.
Start trying to make my foray back into online again with this bunk Kazuya I've made up. But yeah, I don't know, man. I honestly couldn't say. I'm just enjoying playing all the old stuff that I missed out on while working and traveling and all that sorts of stuff.
What's your all-time favorite game then?
Oh, all-time favorite game. This is a question I actually get asked quite often. I would probably say it's going to be a toss-up between Mega Man X on the Super Nintendo.
Wow, that's really old.
Oh, yeah. But the next title's probably, it's probably going to be Castlevania 4 from the Super Nintendo as well, to be completely honest.
Okay.
I loved those games growing up. I mean, I didn't exactly grow up with them. They came out, before I was at a point of even existence. But I got a chance to play them through my parents being gamers as well, my grandparents being gamers, friends being gamers and stuff. And Mega Man X and Super Castlevania 4 are definitely two franchises really that have stuck with me. There are many times where I'll just be, I'd be sitting there bored and Vampire Killer would just start playing in my head or stuff. I'd start singing it to myself and things.
Yeah.
Those games, the music, the gameplay, the stories for them and stuff, really, really got me. I really enjoy those games. And it's kind of making like I now see that Castlevania's in Smash, and it's like, oh, do I like
No,
do I get in there just to play some
I,
Belmonts or
up to you,
nah?
man. Smash is.
Like I have a Switch. Like I have a Switch, and like all I have on it is Pokemon at the moment. But like, Smash could be a bit of fun. Like wouldn't be planning on picking it up tournament wise.
Mm.
Good God, no. Like those guys, I would not be able to hold a candle to them, man. Like I've seen what those boys do in Ultimate, and nah, there's no way I can do that. I'm good. Like I am good. Maybe if they had like some kind of like arcade stick controller or something, but the crazy things I see them do with those GameCube controllers, man, like, oh, nah, crazy.
Not crazy. So you're from Palmy North. How would you describe the fighting game scene over there?
Sad, unfortunately.
Oh.
We're very, very small, and we are unfortunately losing two of our strongest players in a couple of weeks. Cam and Mike, I believe, will be moving to Australia. So our already small community is going to be getting a little bit smaller. Because I mean, like we've got, well, obviously myself. We got the likes of Hadouken, one of our better Street Fighter players. Lofty, same with him, and Dr. Ginkles. Those guys. They are kind of like our Street Fighter crew. And then just recently we've had Lionheart actually starting to show up, and like we knew he existed, we knew he was around,
Yeah.
but he just we would try to reach out to him or something along those lines, and I don't know if it was like so much a thing of him snobbing us or anything, but like he's absolutely incredible Tekken and Soul Calibur.
Just be like, enough combo vids, man. Show up.
Yeah,
just show up.
Come on.
Yeah.
Dude, just do that to me. Like, I don't care. Play. Like,
Yeah.
But no, he started showing up recently. He came to a couple of tournaments with us through last year, and I'm kind of hoping to, I'm hoping to either, kind of convince like Hadouken, like he's generally pretty keen to come to tournaments. Lofty as well, but I'm kind of trying to convince some of the more, I don't know, I want to say shy players that we've got here to come out with us. Like we've got some fairly strong like Street Fighter and Tekken players and things, and like I just like to, well, I don't like driving by myself like long distances.
Yeah.
It's boring.
Yeah, man.
Like, because I mean, like when it comes to traveling and stuff, like I've driven us to and from every tournament we've been to, and I mean, like I drove myself to both the Dragon Ball LPL, both the qualifier and the regionals.
Oh yeah.
And just the 2 hour long drive to Wellington. Oh, no, it was boring. Like, it was boring. No, like, but then me and Mike, just me and him, we road tripped up to Auckland for House of M2 late last year. And that was sick. Like that was sick because I had someone to talk to, like And I mean, I would love to. I still want to come out to tournaments and stuff, even if like it's just me. But like, I would definitely like to show it with a group of us.
Show it with an entourage.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, be like, yeah, like we came to play games, like I just that would be cool, and like I would like to try and find some new players, but I'm not really sure how to go about it. Is the problem?
Yeah, it's that interesting dilemma where, like, maybe you don't have to find them; you just have to let them find you. But then there's always those people that are like, "Oh, I've been trying to look for you guys for so long," and it's like, we've literally been active on Facebook and Twitter. It's like, how could you? I guess you just gotta, you kind of get the meetings and stuff through the right people. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's like,
yeah, like I mean, like the Palmy scene, like because I mean, like when I first started trying to get into fighting games, like there were guys from Palmy that played fighting games, and they'd met up like for like a few years like beforehand, like they'd already done like their meetups and stuff like that, and now they were kind of just like not really meeting up so much anymore. But then when I jumped into it, I literally just jumped onto Google and was like Palmerston North fighting game community. And the first thing that popped up was the StandingFierce forums, and there was Hadouken, there was Mendo, there was Parasite, there was like just all these guys that, well, now are some of my closest friends, and we didn't even know each other. What, like 6, 7 years ago now? Like we've probably known each other. Maybe I might be a little bit off on that, but we've known each other for quite some time. But like that's literally all it can take sometimes is just typing into Google. Like God, like if you're ever thinking, oh man, I want to play some offlines with some people, but I don't know anyone. Like it can be as easy as just jumping onto Google or just like sending out a status on Facebook, a tweet, something along those lines, because surely there's going to be someone else or like someone else around you that at least messes around with a fighting game
Yeah.
or just games in general. Like, because I mean, like everyone air quotes plays Tekken. Like everyone, back in the day, oh, I know all the moves, I know this, I know that, like all that sorts of stuff. Like, I would say that pretty much everyone knows someone like that. But like, it's trying to get that person, it's trying to convince that person to get to the next level. Like, it's yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, you're right there. But then there are players that they go to an offline event, and then afterwards they realize, oh well, actually I'm just online only, and then they'll kind of politely quietly disappear.
Yeah, that is true, and I think that's more or less just going to be down to, well, like the player's mentality. Like again, you can't go into it. You can't go into a game thinking you're the best. I know that's a great mentality to have, like when playing the game, because like you want to amp yourself up. Like when you're sitting down in tournament and things, you don't want to psych yourself out by going like, oh man, like this guy I'm playing, he's just gone up against this other top player and he might not have won, but like he did really really well and now I'm scared. Like that's a terrible mentality to have, like because you've already lost basically. Like you're thinking on the back foot, but like you kind of just need to push through that barrier, like, and that's what I feel stops a lot of people, especially with fighting games, because fighting games have a very, 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 very special thing to them called execution. And that can be a gigantic barrier for people coming into fighting games. Like, I wanted to, like for me, Tekken, I wanted to play Kazuya. I couldn't electric.
Yeah.
So, therefore, like, missing that tool from my character, I might as well just play someone else. Like, I might as well just play a completely different character. But I stuck it out. I kept trying. I picked up Claudio on the side, but we kept trying. Like we kept going back to Kazuya, and now I would like to say quite consistent with it on one player side. 2P is a different beast, but we're getting there. But you just like I feel like people just really need to get past that barrier of of losing, of feeling bad about losing, because you're going to lose no matter how good you are. Like you're going to get beaten by someone, and it's what you can take from that loss. Like what you can take from that loss, because I'm while I'm a very aggressive player when it comes to playstyle, I can also get quite salty as well sometimes. Like I've definitely had the salt flow through me a few times in the past, but I am now starting to try to like utilize my losses instead of going like, oh, like I lost that because he did this or something along those lines. Like I'm starting to think more back now, like, well, why did he do that?
Yeah.
Like what gave him the opening to let him do that to me, kind of thing. Like, so trying to plug up holes in my game rather than just getting angry and then carrying that energy into the next game.
Yeah.
Because that can throw you off. Like that can be a massive dent to your game if you let that happen to you.
Have you ever had a big salt experience, whether it's you or the opponent?
When it comes to tournament scene, not myself, no. Like there have definitely been moments where like I feel like, oh damn, like I definitely feel like I could have played better there or something along those lines. Like I mean, just looking back at the money match between me and Seb at War,
yeah.
that was devastating, and I still think back to it. I still think back to it to today, and I think that's just going to stick with me. But I didn't feel salty about losing that. Like I was like, okay, gutted, I lost, but like I had fun. Like, I had a lot of fun playing with it. Like the setup and the stuff. Like, oh man, like the posters, the intro music and stuff. Unfortunately, I'm quite an anxious person, so I wasn't able to do anything big and flashy for my intro. But Seb rocking in with the cash and the robe and the music and all of that stuff, man, got everyone
like
really
Floyd
excited.
Money Mayweather, man. Like, fuck, he was feeling himself.
Yeah, man. But I don't think back to that and think like, ah, damn, like I should have won that. Oh God, come on. Like I think back to that, like, damn, he kicked my ass, but why? Like, what did I let him do? Like, what did I let him do
Yeah.
to me? And that's like kind of where my mind's at the moment. I mean, like in recent times, when it comes to just straight salt and things, Quake Champions has been has been the mill for a little bit of salt recently. Like, there's been a few times where it's just been like, oh, like, oh, screw off. There's no way that rail hit. Come on, like, yeah, but like I tend to keep my it's weird. I tend to keep my composure in person more than I do if I'm playing online,
Yeah.
because I feel like there's more there's more room for error online, and I beat myself up about that quite a lot. So it's like, oh no, like I missed that whiff punish, and like I'm still thinking about that, but it's just online.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't actually matter. Like, all you've got, like, it's just points. It's just a rank. It's just a thing. But then when it comes to the tournament scene, I'm able to switch that part of me off. Thankfully, like, I'm able to just be like, oh crap, I lost. Okay, all right. Well, next game, or oh, that's me out. Oh, damn, that sucks even more. Well, I guess I'll go find something else to play. Like, it's just, it's really weird. And I'm trying to now, instead of people learning stuff at home and applying it to tournaments, I'm trying to apply stuff from tournaments at home. It's really strange, but yeah.
I just enjoyed that money match because, to me, and I'm sure a lot of us, it wasn't about who was going to win. It was just building the hype up. It almost felt like I kind of referenced boxing, but it was almost like Ali and Foreman, like trying to build you two up, and actually like until that moment where you actually get up on the stage and you played. I never actually think about the outcome. It was just the momentum behind it, because as you said, you know, like Seb rocking up with his boxing hoodie and you just being kind of like stone cold, like, you know, no, I'm going to deliver this beat down to you. No, it was really good. And plus it was more games for everyone, you know?
Like, I mean, that was probably the thing I was most excited about, was just like, oh yes, like we get to show off Marvel, like we get to show off more of it to a much bigger crowd than usual. Because I mean, like, again, as much as I love Marvel, it tends to kind of get the shaft when it comes to like tournaments, in terms of like time and things like that. Like, Marvel tends to be over like quite early. Like when it comes to finals day, like it'll be the first game that they've got on, if it's even at the tournament, and then it's like just boom, top 8 done, moving on, kind of thing. So it was kind of cool to show off our game to again a much bigger audience, because I remember like looking out at the crowd and going like, oh my god, like there's so many people watching this right now. Like I mean, it's like I could obviously see well, you guys from like the Tekken crew, see some dudes from like the Smash crew and stuff like that, and just like everyone enjoying Marvel and just enjoying like just the spectacle that we tried to put on. And I like to think we did a pretty good job.
Yeah, no, you guys.
I wish I played better.
No,
I wish I played better. That's one thing, but
it was good overall, man. What
had a lot of fun.
In terms of money matches, like, do you feel like we should have more money matches? I know they cause drama and incite conflict, but we're generally quite forgiving, and so I guess I'm wondering, would you encourage more money matches, or do you think that tends to
Personally, yeah. Like, I'm all for money matches. Like, I like the drama that it can build up in things when it's between, you know, like two players that, you know, can be like really good at the game and stuff. You know, it's always cool to see them kind of like lock horns every now and then, because it adds to that storyline of the FGC, because it's not what it's all about, but like, you know, man, I like seeing some extra drama on the side every now and then, you know, like some guy standing up any amount, like, oh, Flux, like, I'll remember that moment forever. But like, it's I mean, if people are keen on it, then cool, but I don't feel like it should be a thing that's forced. Like, it should be an agreement, obviously, between the two players. I don't feel like anyone should ever feel pressured to put money on, like if they don't feel like they want to, kind of thing, because it can be a lot of pressure. I mean, definitely, like I kind of like got slapped up and things in our money match and things. But hey, man, I was talking crap on Facebook. Like I was talking crap on Facebook. I deserved it. Like I brought that on myself. Seb called me out. We played. I got bopped. But I haven't personally seen like any instances of like where I've seen like in our scene anyway, in the New Zealand scene, like where it feels like anyone's been like extorted for a money match kind of thing, like because that's when it starts. That's not cool.
It's
like that's not cool.
It's taboo territory. Yeah.
Yes, nah, definitely. Because I mean, like first things first, man. Like everyone should just be safe. Everyone should be safe. Like at the tournament, no one should ever feel intimidated or anything along those lines. And yeah, if you're doing that to someone, like that's not on. Like there's got to be something done about that. But I'm all for money matches. I love them. Like I've definitely seen my fair share of money matches, and I've made some side bets here and there with some people when I've won and lost money and things. And like again, like just because these two guys or whatever are having a money match, that doesn't mean that you can't kind of get in on the action every now and then, because no doubt someone in the crowd's going to want to put money on it too. Like,
yeah. So what's the best grudge match you've seen?
Hands down, the Golden Boy Neo versus Clockwork, Marvel versus Capcom 2.
Oh god, that's the $10,000 one, right?
That is
holy
now and forever.
Yeah.
I have watched that so many times. I loved every single second of it. Like I was a big fan of Clockwork in Marvel 2. Playing Strider, like again, another franchise from Capcom that I really, really love. And I've always got mad respect for him for sticking it out even through like Marvel 3, and even into Infinite when he was playing that. I don't know if he still is, but that money match, that is,
I mean, I never even knew about
amazing.
I never knew about this money match until he actually mentioned it when we interviewed him. I was thinking $10,000. How have I not heard about this?
Yeah, man, it was pretty big news. Like, I unfortunately never managed to. I didn't catch it live or anything along those lines, but like since hearing about it, like just through the grapevine years and years and years ago, and it's it's up on YouTube now. I'm sure it's up there multiple times from multiple different sources and things, but that they're just. I mean, not just obviously the amount of money that they're playing for. That's a lot of money to put on the line, kind of thing. Like, but then just the story behind it, because like oh god, I can't remember who started it, but I'm pretty sure they'd been talking smack back and forth pretty hard, and it just amounting to that. Like, it was also not just the fact that it was. That was a $10,000 money match. It was such a long set too, to like have the mental capacity to sit down and be able to play that many games, man. Like that's hard. Like I like playing games, but I have to take a break every now and then, man. Like I got hooked on Legends of Runeterra and Quake Champions and been playing those for hours and hours and hours. But nah, man, got to stop, have a coffee, slow down for a second, and just think about it. But just to be able to just keep going and keep playing at that such a high level like that, that's just incredible to me.
It's that high level plus that that unusual factor that you're playing for that amount of money. Like in longer sets, obviously it's like you need to adjust, but obviously these adjustments need to be on point or you gonna screw up big time, eh?
And that's money gone. Like, and that sucks, man. Like,
I mean, would you ever money match anyone? What's the most you've money matched? Is it the Seb match?
Oh, so okay, I'm thinking about another thing, which I wouldn't so much call a money match, but there was this was a long time ago. Quake 3. I ended up playing some guy in an internet cafe, and I suppose it would be a money match, because it literally was just a match for money. I don't know, like to be fair, for me, like a money match is more of a, like there's a build up to it and things like that. But this guy literally walked up to me and was like, "Oh, dude, like you're pretty good at Quake. Did you want to play? Did you want to play for like a few $100s?" And I kind of laughed at him, and was like, "Oh, nah, like I'm all good."
Yeah, that would be a money match.
Nah. Yeah, no, yeah. And I was like, oh nah, like I'm all good. And the dude was like, oh well, like I'm dead serious. And then my mate from behind me was like, I'll put the money down. Like,
Hey.
and I was like, I was like, oh man, like just like, oh dude, no, come on, like I don't want to lose your money, man. Like, like I was quite nervous because like I'm pretty good at Quake. I mean, years ago, like going back 10 years when my reactions were much more on point than they are now.
Yeah.
Um, I like I just having that confidence from my friend that definitely like because he was just like, oh yo, like let's go, like I want to see you just whoop this dude kind of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, that would probably be the biggest one that I played for, which I won, funnily enough, which was a massive relief because I could also give my friend his money back and also have some money for me. Like but that was probably about the only other instance of like outside of just silly bits and things like that. Oh, like $5 you can't hit it down for 2 perfect electric first try, like kind of thing,
Yeah.
like stuff like that. But like that was probably the only other instance of actually playing a game for money where it's literally just me and another player. Like, I mean, there's your tournament scene and stuff like that, but in terms of like actual money match stuff, literally just Seb and whatever this guy's name was. I didn't even know his name or anything along those lines. Can't remember his gamer tag. Can't remember anything. All I remember is beating this guy.
Just going back to Dragon Ball Fighters, because now they've introduced the new V-Assist system, which is quite similar to UMVC 3. If it handles well, do you think you could pick it up? You could pick up Dragon Ball Fighters again?
It really depends. Like, I mean, for me, like the assist system in the game, like obviously there are characters that have amazing assists, like beam assists are crazy. I mean, Vegeta's assist on launch was far too strong. You definitely see me abusing that when the game first came out, the first couple of months. But I feel like that's definitely going to change up the dynamic a lot because there were a lot of people that are like, oh man, like Goku Blue, he's like super cool, but his assist is kind of ass, like it kind of sucks, like But it'd be interesting to see those people now. It'll be interesting to see those people now, where it's like, oh, well, he's got a beam assist now. Like, are you still going to play the character? Are you going to pick him up? Like, or are you going to stick with your GT Goku, Super Saiyan Goku, Vegeta team, or whatever the boring team is at the moment? I feel like for me, I will probably I play Dragon Ball Fighters like very like casually, like very casually. But I do still enjoy watching the game, and it will be cool to see what the boys come up with and stuff like that. I mean, dudes like Blackout. It'll be interesting to see if like Tosh and things like that.
Yeah, Tosh
if he
back.
makes a comeback, that would be cool. But then like obviously all the main names like you Goichi, Sonic Fox, like all that sorts of stuff. It'll be crazy to see the things that they come up with.
So I think we're in agreement that Goichi or Sonic Fox is on the top of the food chain for Dragon Ball Fighters.
Oh well, Goichi said it himself. He's the strongest man in the world.
So what about Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite?
Oh, Cyber Japan Agent. It took me a second because I had to think of his name.
and what is it about this? And what is it about him that you'd say is number one?
Oh man, I wouldn't be able to nail it down just because it's like everything, man. This dude's confirms are out of this world. His pressure is insane. His keep away game is always on point. He plays Dante Dormammu, which is arguably one of the strongest, if not the strongest team in the game. He's always just so on point, and he just seems to get the reads on people. Like he likes to condition them to like block high, block low, to go against how they feel, like what they like to do naturally, and then he just abuses that. And that's kind of what I see from his gameplay. Unfortunately, he uploads. Well, sorry, not unfortunate, but he uploads quite a lot. He uploads very long sets against quite a lot of people and stuff. Like I see him playing against Zebu, who's another. He's one of the guys that I look at for Ultron stuff, because I would say he's probably the best Ultron in the world. But I would say Cyber Japan Agent, man. Like I don't know how his thought process has gone on this game, but he is actually on another level. Like, I don't know if I've seen him lose a set yet. He's lost rounds. He's definitely lost rounds, but I don't know if I've seen him lose a set. Like, it's actually crazy.
Do we have a Dormammu? Do we have any player who uses a team with Dormammu in New Zealand?
We have Mason. Mason plays Dormammu. I played a little bit of Dormammu when the game first dropped, but he got instantly dropped for Dante.
Yeah.
But outside of that, no. We actually have a very interesting pool of character selects in New Zealand. I mean, we've got some pretty stock standard ones and stuff, like myself playing like Ultron Dante or Ultron Nova, Isaac from DC playing Zero Dante. But then we've got the likes of we've got the likes of Consistent, who's playing Thor Morrigan, which was a team that was always considered quite strong. Like right off the gate, one of the developers was playing that team in like the early stages. Like, I don't want to say beta stages because it didn't really have like a beta as such, but like just in the early builds and stuff.
Yeah.
He was showing off some really cool things with that, but you don't really see that team around too much anymore. And Wiz, I have heard, is a guy that likes to take the hard road.
Yeah.
More often than not, with the likes of playing Shao Kahn and MK11 and things. But then we've also, again, like I mentioned with Penny Power, Mike plays Chris and Ryu, which are two characters that you never see. Like, I've never seen anyone else play those characters before. And then we have Soul playing Hagar Spencer. I don't know if that's changed up. Dave with the Sigma Strider, which is always something to respect. And yeah, man, like, we've just got some really interesting character selections here. It's a lot more fun to play, seeing, like, everything that the game can kind of offer, rather than just Ultra Dante or Zero Dante mirror matches all day.
Yeah. Well, at your next tournament, whenever that is, what team would you most look forward to versing?
To be fair, I'm probably always going to be looking out for Zero Dante. I always love playing Isaac, man. Like, he's just mainly he's a cool guy. Like,
Yeah.
I really like Isaac as a person. Like, he's a really cool guy to hang out with and stuff. And it's always really interesting because it's cool seeing, like, again, like, just his thought process, because that's probably one of the things that I enjoy the most about just playing fighting games against people and stuff, is seeing how they go about solving certain situations and things, and like, like, kind of what situations get them flustered, how do they deal with that sorts of stuff. And Isaac's always, in every game that he plays, whether it be Street Fighter, Dragon Ball, Marvel, just whatever else, he always just seems to keep it like really calm, really collected. And just, yeah, man, like, again, I really, really enjoy playing him.
Well, I mean, you're pretty cool yourself, man. I mean, like the way you handle.
Uh-huh.
No, I mean, the way that you handle yourself in the game. But like after a tournament or after a Rambats or whatever, is there anything that you do to kind of de-zone?
Oh, well, see, that's the thing. Is like, well, a lot of my life, I mean, outside of like my son and things like that, a lot of my life does actually revolve around playing games. So like when we finish Randbats, it's literally like, all right, well, who's next? Like, like, we'll finish up all our brackets and stuff like that, and then comes the fun stuff. Then comes the, oh yeah, man, you want to play some Dragon Ball? All right, let's go. And then play a couple of games of that, and then hop off and play some Tekken and things. But when it comes to like big, massive tournaments, where I'm up at like 7, 8 in the morning, potentially up all day playing games, like at the trying to stay at the height of my the height of my skill, like that can all get quite draining. So just literally just going back to the hotel or wherever I'm staying and just lying down on the bed and just zoning out for like half an hour or something along those lines, just let me kind of recoup, like, because it can be like, tournaments can be quite draining for me. Like, I do, again, like, I suffer quite badly from anxiety, so it can be pretty full on, being around so many people constantly for 2-3 days and things like that. I'm not saying it's like stay away from me at like tournaments and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying it can be very full on for me. So just having that time to just kind of sit down and just chill out for a little bit like that, just literally just lying down on the bed can be enough.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I know it's one thing when your mates see you play games, or even if it's at a tournament or something, but when your son's able to watch you play, and obviously nowadays,
yeah.
with internet and streaming, what does that do for you as a father when your son actually sees you playing games, and you can show him that, like, oh yeah, this is me having fun, son. You can have fun too when you're older.
Yeah, it's actually really cool. So I mean, like, so his mother, me and Cole. Sorry, I was going to call him Little Man because that's my nickname for him. Cole's mother, we've split up, but we're still really really good friends. So we'll communicate and things. So when it comes to me being at a tournament or something along those lines, I can always just send her the link to the wherever it's being streamed and things, and they'll sit down and support me from home. Like every now and then, like I'll walk past like the mainstream thing and just kind of look at the chat and see if they've left any words of inspiration for me or anything along those lines. But I always know that even if there was no one else there with me on my side or anything along those lines, like everyone's cheering for the other guy. Like at least I've got the two most important people in the world to me. Like they're holding it strong for me. Like.
Yeah, no, that's really beautiful, man. It's really something, because there's not many players that would be in that position, that they're a father and they have children to take care of. And it's good because it's like, you can still have this life. I mean, obviously real life does call you at times, but it's just that juggle, and I would understand that it's definitely not easy.
And nah, it can definitely be a little bit difficult, but again, I've been like when it comes to playing games, I've been playing them for such a long time. Like I think the first game I played would have been either Pitfall or Pac-Man on the Atari 2600 when I was 3, and that's literally just smacking buttons and things. But like I've obviously over time learned how to kind of juggle like playing games into my real life and things like that. Like trying to obviously have a productive life, but then also trying to do the things that I enjoy as well. Like, 'cause, I mean, obviously I love hanging out with my son, and he's the most amazing thing in the world to me. But sometimes you need a break.
No, no.
Sometimes you need a break, and that's gaming for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, just trying to like weave in like the things that the things that I want to do with the things that I need to do, and just trying to find that balance. And we're getting better at it.
Yeah.
We're getting better at it slowly over time. And yeah, but no, it's always really cool knowing that he's there. Like,
All right. Well, let's just say that Cole's gotten a bit older. Maybe he's like 8, 9, 10, and he's like, Dad, I want a console, or I want a computer or something. And your answer would be, I'm gonna buy you a beep, and you're gonna play beep. What would you say?
I will. To be fair, it would probably be something along the lines of, well, whatever the new PlayStation is, because like while I have a PlayStation and an Xbox and the PC and like all of that stuff, like I will always be partial to PlayStation. Like they've just given me so many good games. So it would definitely be a PlayStation something, whatever that would be. So many years from now. And to be fair, I'd probably just try and like. Sad as it makes me, I don't think a Marvel game would be around. So it would probably be just whatever the closest thing to that is, to be completely honest. Because, funnily enough, he does really like. So he's 5 at the moment, but he is autistic. So he's a little bit special. There are definitely some things he grasps faster than other things. But one of the things that he has loved ever since being a baby is the Marvel soundtrack. So the amount of times I'll come home when I've got him or something along those lines, and he's sitting there playing Marvel 3, and like he's literally just sitting there smacking buttons, doesn't know what he's doing or anything along those lines, but he looks like he's having the time of his life. But that's Oh, that's it for me, man. Like that's it. Like
Is is
walk in the door. Oh,
is there a particular sound? Is there a particular song, or is it just like a full soundtrack?
the main things that get him are the main menu theme. He really likes, and the initial Capcom Presents Marvel Comics thing that grabs his attention from wherever he is.
Yeah.
If he hears that, you just hear him come charging from wherever he is just to listen to that. It's so funny and the cutest thing in the world. But then when it comes to like the actual like the in-game music, like the characters' music and stuff, he seems to really like Frank's theme. Because Frank seems to be a character he always picks. I'm not sure if that's just I'm not sure what it is about Frank, but he always seems to be on the team somehow. And yeah, he seems to really like his theme too, because the amount of times I've seen him lose all of his characters, get down to just Frank, and just put the controller down and listen to it. Like, because he doesn't know how to set it up into training mode and things. Like, he'll get it into arcade mode, and he'll like pick his characters and things like that. But yeah, like whenever Frank's on screen, if he just wants to listen to that song, like he'll just kill his other characters specifically, and then just put the controller down and listen to it for however long Frank survives for.
Oh, funny
The
guy.
funniest stuff.
Funny guy. And you've got no problem with him liking Frank? I mean, hey, he could definitely like far worse characters, right?
Nah, for sure. Like, I mean, like Frank, absolutely fine. I like Dead Rising. I like Frank as a character. Like, I'd like to see more of him in the likes of Infinite and stuff. Like again, people are finding broken stuff with him, which is really cool. But Frank was definitely one of those underrated characters, and I don't know, man. Like, just being able to say that my son has the best Frank West in Palmerston North, it's got a special ring to it.
Yeah. Like, because you said that clearly Marvel might not be around when your son gets older. My question is, is that like how much do you believe that statement? Like, Marvel's such a it's such a big franchise, but if you're talking just the cross series, because I mean, is it really too much of a stretch to ask for Marvel versus Capcom 4? Obviously, that's nothing happening.
Yeah, but it can be kind of hard to say. I mean, like obviously it's in a bit of a shaky position at the moment. What with Disney owning basically everything Marvel nowadays, like it's obviously going to be down to really them whether or not they want to see that. As much as the fans want it and stuff, I personally don't see a new Marvel game coming out. I mean, like, there's still going to be like the thing with that is we still have the old ones.
Yeah.
Like that's one thing that I don't really understand about like a lot of people. Like they're real gutted that like my game's not at Evo. Like the Smash players with Melee and stuff. Like I know like you love that game and that's like really cool, but it's not going anywhere. It's just you're not going to be able to play it at Evo. Like that sucks and things. But like I'm sure you'll be able to do it just like a side tournament for it. Is it the fact that your game has to be on the big stage or something, or is it the fact that you actually you love the game and you just want to play it with people? Like that's where I kind of sit on that. Like I don't care if there's not a new Marvel game because I have Marvel 1, Marvel Superheroes, X-Men versus Street Fighter, like Children of the Atom, Marvel 1, like Marvel 2, Marvel 3, Marvel 4. I have so many games to play with different rosters, different engines and all sorts of different stuff. Like, and I don't like the tournament scene's never really been a thing that I was like, yeah, like got to get in there, got to be the best and things like that. I just more or less saw it as like, oh, yo, like lots of people play these fighting game things that I seem to like quite hard. Like, why not just go and play games with all these other people that really enjoy this thing that I also enjoy? And through that made lots and lots of friends. And well, that's all I've really cared about. Like, I didn't really care about, again, like getting in there, being the best, showing off like all of this stuff. Like, I want to show up. I want to play. I want to have fun. And if it just so happens that I'm really good, then so be it. Like, that's cool.
I mean, you're right. As long as the people are there, and as long as people are promoting the game, then the game never really dies. I think it really just comes down to like they want that, like the Smash Melee players, they just want their game to be highlighted, to be appreciated. So with the MK players not really understanding why MVC2 is in the picture.
Yeah.
I can get it, but then you're right. We should just be happy that people are still doing things for the game, even if it's just posting tech videos.
Yeah, so and I mean like just because MK's not just because MK11's not at Evo this year doesn't mean like Combat Cup isn't happening or something along those lines. You know, a tournament that pretty much everyone can play in because it's just online. Like you literally boot up MK11, you go to Combat League, and you're away.
Yeah.
Like like it's like there's still stuff there, and Evo, while it is like the biggest tournament, it's not really the be all and end all. Like, I mean, obviously, whoever wins Evo and stuff, best in the world, all of that sorts of stuff. But like, just because your game's not there or your game's not main stage or something along those lines, it doesn't mean that your game's dead or your game sucks or anything along those lines. It's just like I would understand more if it was a newer game kind of taking over.
Yeah.
Like if it was a new game kind of slotting in, like Samurai Showdown, like being in there, like but like replacing it with Marvel 2. While I'm excited and I love the decision, like it would have been nicer to have something new. Like give other people a chance to show off their game again. Mortal Kombat, like maybe put that back. Maybe people shown off. Maybe people have found some crazy stuff or something along those lines. But at the end of the day, man, I just like playing the games. There are very, very, very few times where I'm at a tournament and I'm not sitting at a setup playing a game. Like finals day can be a very different beast. But if you catch me on that first pools day, man, I'm gonna be playing nonstop.
Yeah.
Like every game that I can get my hands on. Like I just. Like again, decisions were made, things happened, games got cut, other games got picked. It's not my decision.
Yeah.
I haven't got much to say about it. I just like to go with it.
Yeah.
Like, oh cool, Marvel's there. Oh, gutted, Mortal Kombat's not. Oh well, like I guess I'll enjoy Combat League or some other massive tournament where Mortal Kombat is going to be there.
Yeah.
Like,
okay. Well, if you had to choose a Marvel and a Capcom character from MVC2 to bring them into a potentially new Marvel Capcom game, even though we know that's not happening. Like, I'm just saying, if you could take a character from that series, from Marvel and Capcom, who would you choose?
Well, Marvel is gonna be Magneto. Like he's just hands down like one of my favorite characters. Like Magneto's just super duper cool. But then when it comes to Capcom, is where it kind of gets a little bit more tossed up because there's a few characters in there that I really really like. Like there's Hayato, he's really cool. Like a Mingo, man, like we said before, he's just a cactus.
Yeah.
Come on, man, like that's sick. But then like other fan favorite characters like Captain Commando and stuff like that. But like. I'd probably have to go with like Magneto, and then probably like Dimitri from like Darkstalkers or something along those lines.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him again. Like,
okay. And just for the hell of it, what about a fresh new character? And it can be either Marvel or Capcom, your choice.
A fresh new character. I'm probably just going to be super boring and probably say something like Nero from Devil May Cry or something super stupid like that.
Well, that's not a bad choice, though.
I know, but it's so boring. Like, it's just another Devil May Cry character. Like, of course, this guy says Devil May Cry. Like...
No, it's just funny you say Nero because I'm like because I played DMC5 and I was like, what the hell happened to his arm? It got shot off or something. I was like, that was the first thing I noticed. I was like, why does his arm explode?
Yeah, it was a bit different. It was actually a really cool. Like, I liked how they went about doing it. Like to be fair, the super secret guy that steals the arm, like that was just that was just stupid.
Yeah.
Like that, like there was no way that you were getting that past me.
Yeah.
Like, but I liked the idea of them trying to expand on the Devilbringer gameplay from Devil May Cry 4, because I mean in 4 he had the arm and you could use it to grab stuff and throw things into the ground, but that was really about it. But with the introduction of the Devilbringers and stuff, I feel like that could like if they brought in the Devil May Cry 5 version of Nero, you could have a very dynamic character, depending on how they would go about implementing the Devil Bringers.
Yeah.
Sorry, the Devil Breakers, like whether or not it'd be like a loadout thing that you pick before the match, or if it's like a random install super kind of thing or something. I feel like he could just be a really really interesting character. Like,
All right then. Who's your waifu, man?
my waifu, that would be Velvet from Tales of Berseria for sure.
Why is that? What is it about her?
Everything. She's incredible. Like they managed to take the So I'm a very big fan of my RPGs and stuff like that. I like my or specifically like anime RPGs, the Tales of series, Star Ocean. I have a few other titles that I'm forgetting now, but specifically her, because they took they took the trope of like a downtrodden, betrayed character, and I feel like they made it like they did her really really well. Usually when it comes to a character like that, they're very just one dimensional. They're very just like, I'm just gonna get revenge, and like that's really about it.
Yeah.
And I mean, Velvet kind of starts like that at the start of the game, but then you kind of get to see more of like a human aspect to her. And I mean, like, oh man, like just her, like the whole story of Tales of Berseria, like really, really sold me on Velvet as a character. Like how she goes about, like just a lot of her decisions are logic based, which obviously makes sense. That's what logic is. But again, like they did that really, really well, because a lot of other characters in that situation, like I feel like Edge in Star Ocean 4, if you ever played that. There's a moment in that game where, without spoiling it, like something happens and he just becomes like insanely like just really really down on himself, like constantly. And like they didn't just reflect that through cinematics and stuff, they reflected that through gameplay as well. Like he actually felt slower, more sluggish in things, and that kind of lost me, like just because it became boring. Like like that character lost a lot of his dimensions and things. Like I'm all well and good for you to have like moments in your game, where like your character, like there's something really really bad happens and they're really gutted about it and stuff like that. But if this person specifically is supposed to be like saving the universe or like something along those lines, like surely that one situation isn't going to have them down for the next 6 hours of gameplay.
Yeah.
Like, and have them just speaking monotone, being boring. Nah, like Velvet, I feel filled that archetype really, really well, and just the way that she interacted with the like the party members during the game and stuff. Because even some of those characters were sick too. Like Aizen is super cool. Eleanor is really, really cool as well. But yeah, I don't know. I probably wouldn't be able to nail it down what I really, really like about her, but I would say Velvet for sure.
No, man. Well, you've got conviction in your reasons, man. I just want to thank you again, Unearthed Mitchell, for coming along. Do you have any last words or shout outs you'd like to make?
Play Marvel. Just play Marvel. Nah, honestly, like massive shout out to obviously like you, man. Like, thank you for having me on. Like, this is actually a pretty big thing for me. I'm pretty excited.
No, it's a pleasure, man. A pleasure.
Shout out to all of our Marvel crew, like everybody, and Cass and Cole. I love you guys.
And with that, we will end this episode. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you again another time.